Hello and welcome to Power Engineering International Newscast. I'm Diarmaid Williams. In this week's newscast, RWE Power Chief says company won't split in two. Russia begins delivering gas to the Ukraine. Support of UK new nuclear grows, but gender divide remains. And Japanese telecom giant plans $7 million investment in startup wind firm. The chief executive of RWE Power Generation says that the company will not be dividing in two in an attempt to cope with the market conditions that have dogged European utilities in recent years. Matthias Hartung also told a gathering of politicians and industry executives at Schloss Pfaffendorf in Bergheim on Monday evening that lignite coal power could not be done without if German energy security is to be preserved. E.ON announced a new corporate strategy and split 1 week ago, but without referring to his nearest competitor, Hartung assured his audience his firm won't be following suit. Hartung also added that RWE will continue its lignite power business beyond 2030, citing its role in maintaining affordability of electricity and security of supply in the event of windless and faint times. He also produced a report of a recent study initiated by the company, which shows that for the 30-plus age group, social and economic growth is at least as much of a priority in Germany as the energy revolution. Calling for an energy revolution with sound judgment, he said that public concern about social growth ought to be respected. Russia has begun delivering gas to Ukraine today for the first time since cutting off supplies in June. Ukraine uses 200 million cubic meters of gas per day during the winter months. But as relations between the two countries deteriorated due to recent incidents in the Crimea, Russia insisted in October that Ukraine pay up front for its winter gas supplies. This month, Ukrainian state energy company Naftogaz paid $378 million to Gazprom for 1 billion cubic meters of gas. On Tuesday, the Ukraine started importing around 43.5 million cubic meters of natural gas, as confirmed by Gazprom. Support for the construction of new nuclear plants in the UK has grown by more than 10% over the past decade, but there remains a noticeable gap in attitudes between men and women towards the sector. 45% of the population approve the building of new reactors according to the latest Nuclear Industry Association YouGov poll. But the persistent distrust exhibited by female respondents towards the technology concerned speakers at the NIA's conference last week, who say more must be done to reassure women and engender a more positive outlook. Of those polled, 57% of men were favourable towards more nuclear being added to the country's power mix, with just 26% of women of a similar view. The lopsided nature of responses specific to the genders was much discussed at the industry event where the poll was unveiled. Marilyn Cray, VP of Exelon, said that the industry could ill afford to ignore women when a potential skills shortage is at hand, saying that with a lack of new people coming into the sector, the industry should not discriminate against any of the community. Meanwhile, Miranda Kerschel, head of European Business Development at Atkins Nuclear, said the industry needs to see unconscious bias and a look at flexibility, HR culture, and the overall creation of an environment that's more attractive for women. Finally, Japanese telecoms giant SoftBank has announced plans to invest $7 million in startup wind technology company Altiras Energies. The investment will support commercial development of Altera's buoyant air turbine, BAT, in which a shell filled with helium floats a wind turbine 1,000 to 2,000 feet above the ground. According to US-based Altiras, the ability to harvest stronger winds at higher altitudes means the BAT is expected to generate over twice the power of a tower-mounted wind turbine of the same size. The technology is expected to be particularly relevant for remote islands and locations in Japan and the Asia-Pacific region. That's all from this week's PEI News. Tune in next week for more global power generation industry news.